Back with Bobby and JJ Radio. We are talking everything Hemisphere Park. Very excited. This is 6 years in the making. We have Mr. Drew Hicks, which has been a part of the organization for 2 years. He's a San Antonio native. He's probably as excited as anyone else that I know. So let's go right back into it, Drew. So let's talk about these different businesses that are going to be featured in, the Yanaguana Garden area.
Yeah, so there's 22 historic properties in the Hemisphere campus.
Sure.
They're state antiquities landmarks. All 22 stay. And we want to find tenants for those.
Right.
And so in Yanaguana Garden, the first phase, we have 4 of those homes. And so it was really important to us to find tenants that made sense in an active play environment.
Right.
But tenants that would make sense to locals, tenants that would draw people into the park and give them a reason to spend the day there.
Sure.
So we chose the 4 businesses. It's Paleteria San Antonio,
awesome.
Which is paletas and agua frescas. It's a great little business.
Yeah.
A group of guys from that grew up on the west side are starting this kind of west side backyard barbecue inspired restaurant called Consafos. It has it's amazing.
Wow.
Like brisket hash browns, pan dulce burgers, chicken mole wings. It's amazing.
Wow.
Revolution Coffee and Juice, who's already established here in town.
Sure.
They're opening up a juice bar and coffee shop, so we'll have coffee in the park. That was a must.
Right.
And then we mentioned San Antonio Brewing Company, so we're going to have a little brewery on site. That one's actually cool. They'll actually be in the historic OK Bar. So
wow.
it's a historic bar that's on the property, and nobody's been brewing beer in there for 100 years probably.
Yeah, and we know Brent and Vera very well, and we've tasted their beer. Again, another shout out to the Deckards. Mm-hmm. It's incredible beer, and they're really great people. And I'm glad that the tenants are great. Involved.
You'll notice all the tenants are local too, so it was really important to us that we choose local businesses or local chains, and so again, so that it made sense, and also so it kind of gives local business a leg up.
Yeah, and you want that, right? You don't want
that.
You don't want all the you don't want Yard House and all this, Starbucks stuff in there, because then you're like everywhere else, right? I mean, nothing knocking those businesses.
Yeah, and look, we'll have new retail when we start building these new buildings around the perimeter of the park, and those could take on a bigger box feel. But our kind of joking commitment to everybody was no Chili's, no Starbucks in the park. We want to support local businesses and help locals.
So, what businesses are going to surround the area?
What other businesses? Mm-hmm. So we haven't chosen those yet. We don't know. We have 18 historic properties left. So they could be anything. And then as these new developments go in and around the park, those could be a lot of different things too. So restaurants, bars, art galleries, yoga studios, basically anything that serves a public amenity, anything anyone in San Antonio could walk into and enjoy. So not offices or a boutique hotel or something like that.
So if you have a business and you want to get a shot at it, what do you do?
Yeah. So stay up to date with Hemisphere. Find us on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you get your news. And as those properties become available, we go through a public process. Where we take anyone who wants to submit, we do a call for submissions, they submit their idea, and then it goes through a public process to choose that tenant. So we've already gone through the first one of those. There'll be many, many more to come.
So Drew, Hemisphere went through a name and logo change. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So in 1968, a guy named Robert Indiana designed the Hemisphere logo. And with a local artist named Richard Wilson and his wife Kendra Wilson, they developed all this visual identity for the park. Mm-hmm. And that's the only visual identity Hemisphere's had since 1968. And so when I came on board, we started looking at branding and identity and what did we want to call it. So Hemisphere had been referred to in official documents, in city documents, as Hemisphere lowercase f, Hemisphere capital F, Hemisphere Park, Hemisphere Plaza. It had all these names. It was just nuts because nobody had ever managed it. And so we went through a process with the city of San Antonio, voted on by city council, and we changed the name to just Hemisphere.
I like it.
Lowercase f. We didn't want to lose the name because it means so much to people in San Antonio.
For decades,
Yeah, but we wanted to simplify it and get away from the idea that it was just a park. Because, yes, there's 18 acres of park, but there's also going to be residences, offices, businesses, all this wonderful stuff.
And how do you tie into all this other stuff that's going in, like downtown? Because there's a lot of stuff going on. How do you feel that Hemisphere as an organization is tied into everything?
Yeah, so sometimes I like to paint the picture of like a Venn diagram, and at one end, one circle is kind of the Pearl, and the other circle is kind of Blue Star, and then there's this weird space where they overlap in downtown, and there's really nothing. And I think that's where Hemisphere goes, right?
Sure.
So in a big way, we're the anchor for downtown.
Absolutely.
I think we're the other bookend for First Friday. So I think Blue Star is your south end, Hemisphere is your north end.
Right.
And then I think of especially with all the work at River North. connecting that to Mission Reach and the work that's going on there.
Right.
I think Hemisphere is the natural connector for that.
Sure. And what is the timeline for the next project that's going to after Yanaguana?
So the park itself opens this year and on October 3rd.
Okay.
And then later next year, we'll actually begin a P3 construction in Yanaguana Garden. So that'll be new apartments,
Right.
A parking garage, and new office buildings as well, or new residence or retail,
Sure.
rather. The next phase will be Civic Park in 2018. That's the biggest one in the northwest corner. And then Tower Park in 2020. So 3 parks in total.
We want you to come back on our radio show and take us the whole step of the way. We like the progression of it. We love it. We're enjoying it all the time. We're just talking about you guys everywhere we can.
No, it's great.
If people want to donate or get involved or get some more information, they go to hemisphere.org. If they want to check out your actual donation, what is the best way to get towards or get information on that?
So you can get to it from our website, hemisphere.org. There's a separate conservancy called the Hemisphere Conservancy,
Sure.
hemisphereconservancy.org.
Yeah.
And they're really the financial stewards of the project. So we do encourage people to give. And if you want to give, please give through the Conservancy. It's an amazing gift. And really, it's a vote for more urban parks, for more beautiful spaces in downtown.
And a tax write-off.
And a tax write-off. That's
Awesome.
right.
So thanks, Drew. We'll see you next time. We'll see you at the grand opening. Don't move an inch. We'll be right back.